Don't retire without watching this. Think your retirement plan is solid? Most people do, but here's the shocking truth. Most can't survive even basic tests. So today, I will be revealing 7 stress tests that every retirement plan should have so that you can sleep soundly at night and enjoy your retirement. It's your favourite Scotsman here again. And let's get stuck in with number 1, losing a spouse. Now, I know this isn't the cheeriest of topics, but losing a spouse is not just emotionally devastating, it can also create some serious financial stress if you're not prepared. For many couples, there's usually one person who takes the lead on the finances, and while that works fine day to day, what happens if the financially savvy spouse is no longer there? Would your partner know what to do? Would they even know where to start? You then add in the loss of CPP and OAS benefits and perhaps a reduction in any pension income, and you can see where this is going. So, sit down with your financial planner and flesh out this scenario. The numbers are important, but it's about peace of mind. Make sure your plan includes clear steps so your partner doesn't feel overwhelmed or uncertain. Ask yourselves the tough questions now. Would they know how to access the accounts? How will income change if one of you's gone? Will they be able to maintain their lifestyle? The goal here is to eliminate that uncertainty, because when life throws you a curveball, the last thing you or your spouse need is financial chaos on top of everything else. Once you've addressed the impact of spousal loss, the next stress test to tackle is the timing of CPP and OAS. Now, this is where a lot of people stumble. I often hear, my planner told me this is the best time to take it. And while that's somewhat helpful, it's definitely not the whole picture. What you really want is a clear understanding of how the timing of these benefits integrates with your overall financial plan. For example, taking CPP or OAS early might seem like the obvious choice, but have you thought about what delaying them could mean? By holding off, you're essentially locking in guaranteed inflation-adjusted income for the rest of your life. And in a world where markets can be unpredictable, pretty powerful safety net. The key is not to look at CPP and OAS timing in a silo. Think about how these benefits interact with your other income sources like pensions, RRSP withdrawals, and investment returns. The timing decision isn't just about maximising one benefit, it's about creating a sustainable long-term strategy. Sit down with your planner and run the scenarios. Ask questions like, what happens if I take CPP at 60, at 65, or at 70? Test each option against your financial plan and long-term goals. There isn't a one-size-fits-all decision, and the right choice for you depends on factors like your health, your lifestyle, and your overall financial picture. By stress testing this decision now, you can avoid surprises later. And of course, if you don't have a financial planner, click on the link in the pinned comments to book a strategy call with me today. And once you've got your government benefits sorted out, it's time to address longevity planning. Statistically speaking, if you're 60 or 65 now, there's a good chance you'll live into your late 80s or 90s. The question is, will your money last as long as you do? Many plans assume life ends at 90, but what if it doesn't? Running out of funds in your later years is a risk you don't want to take. Solution? Plan for a longer life. Work with your financial planner to test scenarios where you'll live well into your 90s. Maybe even age 100 or beyond. It's far better to prepare for longevity and not need it than to face the opposite. With a proper plan, you can enjoy your retirement without worrying about outliving your money. Alright, moving on to the next stress test. Inflation. Lovely. Inflation isn't just a short-term annoyance, it's a long-term threat to your purchasing power. Even just small annual increases, they add up over time. And then when you add in the unexpected spikes like we've just seen recently, and it can throw a complete wrench into your plan. To stress test for inflation, evaluate how your retirement plan holds up under higher inflation rates. What happens if inflation stays at 5% for a few years instead of the usual 2 to 3%? Can your income keep pace, or will you need to adjust your spending? Both short-term and long-term impacts matter here. Make sure your plan is flexible enough to handle sudden increases while still accounting for gradual long-term erosion of purchasing power. Inflation is one thing, but let's not forget another factor you should stress test: rate of return. You don't need me to tell you that markets can be unpredictable, and your returns definitely won't be the same every year. That's why it's critical to simulate different scenarios. What happens if your returns are 2%, 6%, or somewhere in between? Planning for the best case scenario is easy, but can your plan withstand the worst? Be conservative in your assumptions and prepare for market fluctuations. One thing to watch out for is sequence of returns risk, which is exactly what, Scotsman? Well, it basically means that if the stock market goes down a lot right after you retire, it can hurt your savings more than if the same drop happened at a later date. This is because you're taking money out of your savings at the same time that they're losing value, which makes it harder for your money to grow back. By building a buffer for bad years, like keeping an emergency fund, a year or two's worth expenses in cash, or reducing withdrawals during downturns, you can avoid unnecessary stress. Alright, moving on to the 6th point for today. Can your retirement plan handle long-term care costs? The difficulty with stress testing this one is that long-term care costs can come in many forms. For some, it might mean hiring somebody to help with the daily tasks at home, like cooking or cleaning. For others, it could involve moving into an assisted living facility or even requiring full-time nursing care. Each option comes with its own costs, and these can add up quickly. One thing I would say is, and as morbid as this sounds, if you end up in a position where your care costs are substantial, you probably aren't paying it for that long. But talk with your planner about this and make sure you know what the plan would look like in that eventuality. Let's wrap up with some unexpected expenses. We all know that life doesn't go as planned. Too many retirement plans overlook emergencies like home repairs, helping family, or things like a new car. An emergency fund is a must as a starting point. What if that's not enough though? Is your plan set up to handle the unexpected expense? If you're unsure, then click on the link in the pinned comment below to book your retirement strategy call with me today. And if you're wondering what the top 10 regrets I see in people over 60 are, then you're going to want to watch this next video I've got lined up for you.